Yo, 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 what is up, everybody? What is up? What is up? Give me just a few seconds here. As is the typical stream tradition, first few moments is me just Googling around, making sure that the stream is actually up and running. Let me just see 1 second here. Is it up? It sure is. It sure is. Pretty sure it is. Let me just double check. Yeah, looks like it is. All right, guys, what is up? What is up? It's Lilo, and another late night stream, as usual, super late in the night. This one today is going to be a bit shorter. I could wait a few seconds here. 1 second. So yeah, today's live stream, guys. Hey, what's up, Snailium? Welcome to the stream, bro. Today's live stream is going to be a bit shorter than the normal ones. Usually they're about an hour or so. This one I think we can probably wrap up in like 30 minutes. Angel, what's up, bro? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Yeah, I think today's live stream will be able to wrap it all up in about 30 minutes or so. But what we're gonna do today is it was actually recommended by the commenter Ahmed Hussein. So shout out to Ahmed Hussein. Today we're going to be ranking the Palace Invasion Hunters based off of their contribution during the Palace invasion in the Chimera Antarch. So first we're going to rank them like based off of who contributed the most, like who was the most valuable person towards completing the mission. Then we're going to rank them based off of power. And then I'm going to head over to a community tab post that we did to see if other people were thinking along the same lines as we are. Okay, so let's go ahead and get right into it. So at the number 1 MVP spot, and you guys feel free to let me know what you guys think about these placements, but at the number 1 MVP spot, I'm going to go ahead and put Netero. The reason I'm putting Netero up there is because the reality is he pretty much soloed the Royal Guards and Meruem by himself. Like, well, hold on, do I have this full screened? Let me get that full screen properly. Yeah. Okay, so he pretty much soloed all of them by himself. I mean, he was getting absolutely slammed silly by Meruem, like thrown around like garbage. But the Rose Bomb, the poison from the Rose Bomb ended up killing Meruem, Poof, and Yuppie. So he had the highest kill count out of the top tiers, and he literally sacrificed his life in the process. He was the only person in the invasion hunt that died, like the only human that died. And on top of that, he was kind of like hinting that that was going to happen anyway. Before the invasion started, Netero has a line where he says, this mission likely won't finish without sacrificing somebody. And it ended up being him who was sacrificed. So since he gave his life for it and he pretty much killed the most top tiers, I'm putting him at number 1. Angel said Morel, either MVP as well or instant S tier. Yeah, I agree. Morel's very high up there. So I would say after Netero, this is where it gets debatable. The next best is probably Morel. It would either be Morel or Gone. The reason I say that is because Gone is the only one out of this cast that ended up killing a Royal Guard. Gone obliterated Pito. But something to consider is that if Gone did not kill Pito, Meruem would have been even stronger because he likely would have absorbed Pito as well. Like the way that Poof and Yuppie rushed over to save Meruem and like both gave him about like 80% of their total aura, and Meruem gained their powers. If Pito was still alive, Pito likely would have rushed over there too. and then Meruem would have gotten all of their powers. So that would have been like a complete post-Rose Meruem, and he would have been super cracked. So Gon killing Pito nerfed Meruem a little bit. Well, and another thing to think about is like, actually, maybe Pito, if Pito was there, would have just used her Hatsu ability to like heal Meruem that way. But we don't know if like Pito's Hatsu would have been able to repair Meruem from that explosion. But yeah, I think what would have happened is like if Pito wasn't killed by Gon, that Meruem would have also absorbed Pito's powers. And I don't know if Pito had a way to like heal against poisons. Euroball, what's up, bro? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. But yeah, so Gon, he contributed a lot because he killed one of the royal guards. He's the only person here that did that. But the reason why I'd be willing to put Morel above Gon is because Morel was, like, he shouldered the most responsibility out of everybody there other than Netero. And honestly, like, might have shouldered more responsibility than even Netero did. Morel was pretty much the leader of the entire invasion. And it was supposed to be him and Nove working together leading the invasion, but Nove, like, got scared and ran away. Despite Nove getting scared and running away, Morel didn't. He stood his ground and led the squad after Nove like abandoned everybody. Not only that, he was kind of carrying the invasion before the invasion started. So like he was out for I believe 3 days, fighting nonstop for 3 days, messing up the selection process. So the selection process, that's something I'm going to have to analyze more, because I'll be honest, like when I make my videos, I've never thought it was interesting to like power scale the selection process in any way. So like every time I've watched Hunter x Hunter, I would see the selection process arc, but would never deeply analyze it. So that's something I should do a little bit more, to be honest with you. But especially when you think about the fact that Morel was like the main guy who was messing the selection process up. It was really like Morel and Killua, but I would say Morel more so, because he was actually fighting squadron leaders back to back, but Killua was just fighting fodder ants. So yeah, I would say like the difference between Killua and Morel's contributions before the invasion started was like I think Killua just fought for 1 day, but Morel fought for 3 days. And Killua, the strongest person he defeated were just officer ants, but they had a Hatsu ability. It was the Ortho siblings. They were still just officer class ants, but they were pretty powerful ones. They might have been the strongest officers, because they had the Dart Hatsu, but they still weren't even squadron leaders. Because like I remember the Ortho siblings, they were saying like after they thought they killed Killua, they were like, oh, we'll get promoted to assistant squadron leader. So they were like below assistant squadron leader. So they were just officers. But Killua did kill them, which is pretty impressive. But Morel, like he was fighting the selection process like by himself for 3 days straight, confusing Pito with his Hatsu ability, using his Hatsu ability for like days on end, and still defeated Chitu without even taking damage. And this being Chitu, even without Hatsu abilities, was already a squadron leader. Then awakened like a domain expansion type Hatsu ability. Then got a second Hatsu ability, like in that fight, evolved mid-fight against Morel. And all of that still was unable to like even lay a finger on Morel, and Morel just beat him by using like big brain genius stuff. Then right after that, Morel went and fought the squadron leader, I believe his name was Leol, L-E-O-L, Leol. And Morel like crushed him too, once again, like without even taking damage. So like Morel and Killua's contributions before the palace invasion started were pretty similar to one another, but the truth is like Morel did more for a longer period of time and just did it with more finesse. Like Morel was beating higher ranked opponents without taking damage, but like Killua, he fought the Ortho siblings and like straight up was near death and was out of commission for, I don't remember the exact time frame. Maybe it was a day. Welcome to the stream, everybody. And I actually have the manga pulled up over on the side, so we can like fact check a couple of these things. Like one thing I wanted to look into was how long was Killua out there like trying to mess up the selection process? How like was Killua doing that for the same period of time that Morel was? How long was Killua unconscious after the Ortho siblings fight? Yeah, those are two things I want to look into, so we can check that a little bit later into the stream. And Seb TW says this is based off the poll, right? Not power scaling. Yeah, so this is first we're doing based on contribution, then we're going to do based off of power scaling second. Euroball said the narrator was a true MVP. Very true. The narrator was very dope. But I would put Morel here just because he was overall the most impressive Nen user, I'd say. Like, especially when you consider that his team member Nove, someone that like Morel was confident in Nove's strength and experience, because they were both handpicked by Netero. Even after seeing Nove get shook to the point where Nove just completely gave up, Morel saw that and still decided, you know what, I'm still gonna scrap these guys. Like, Morel is actually probably the brave, I'd say he might be the bravest hunter there, but Gon and Killua are also just like immensely brave. So like something interesting about it is like Morel was side by side with Netero when Netero looked at Pito and said, yeah, Pito's stronger than me. Morel saw that and and then saw Nove get shook by Poof's aura, just absolutely shook. Saw both of these things happen and then still decided, you know what, I'm still gonna just 1v1 Poof, I don't care. And like there was also a moment where like Poof was analyzing Morel's mindset and Poof was like, this dude, his confidence is literally at 100%. Like his stamina is very low, his energy is very low, but his confidence is still like 100%. So Morel is just kind of built fundamentally different, like mentally. And he's just an excellent leader. Like he really did lead the invasion. Netero honestly should have been the leader, but Netero is like a crazy old man and he just wanted to like fight and have fun by himself. Like if you pay attention to Netero's dialogue, pretty much like the only reason he brought these guys was because Netero wanted to 1v1 Meruem. Like that was like, even with him hiring Zeno, Zeno has a bit of dialogue where he says, Netero paid me a large amount of money to help separate the royal guards from the king. And then there's also a bit of dialogue where Netero says the same thing to the rest of the invasion hunters. Like right before the invasion starts, Netero sends them a message saying, hey, separate the royal guards from the king. So Netero's whole goal was he just wanted to 1v1 a very strong opponent, and Meruem was just like hyped up to be super cracked. So it's like Meruem was his dream opponent that Netero wanted to fight his entire life, and he kind of just like Netero kind of treated this life or death mission as just a way to make his dream come true. That's also why he didn't like bring the Zodiac with him. There's a line of dialogue from the Zodiac where they're like straight up saying like, why did Netero not bring us? Why did he bring like some freaking children, and like Morel and Nove were stronger than Morel and Nove? Why didn't they bring us? And the dog Zodiac, I think her name's Cheadle. She's like, it's because Netero wanted to fight by himself. And it also implies that like if the Zodiac had went there, they would have just wiped everyone out. Like if especially if all 12 Zodiac went, that's not even a question. Meruem and the three royal guards would have gotten packed up like lunch boxes. But there's a chance. But seeing how like it's very rare to get all of the Zodiac to like come together on one mission, it implies that like just a like a portion of the Zodiac would have been able to solo this mission. But let's keep going. So yeah, I'm having Morel right here, and then let's keep going. So Gon might get replaced by someone here. Let's see. So the next most valuable, let's see here, because at this point no one else killed a royal guard at all. So it's more going to be based on like who was like valuable to the mission. Okay, so we can like openly debate about this. For the next place right after Gon, it's either going to be Killua or Melioron or Knuckle. One of these three. Okay, so let's talk about it. So especially like Melioron is extremely underrated. I see someone said Melioron. Yeah, Angel said Melioron could be an S or an A. It's debatable. Honestly, good point. Like, so the reason why Melioron is cracked is because he was pretty much saving people's lives the entire invasion. Like, his Hatsu ability is really strong. Like 1v1, it's actually kind of not that strong because Melioron himself is weak. But the ability to just vanish, like erase his presence from existence, is very powerful. So let me think for a second here. Who was more valuable to the overall mission? Was it Melioron or was it Killua or Knuckle? So let's first look at who saved more lives. So Melioron saved Killua's life and Knuckles' life and Shoot's life. And I think Morel's life as well during the Yuppie fight. I might be incorrect on that. But you just have to think, like, every single time someone was about to die and Melioron just made them go invisible and like skedaddled to safety. It happened numerous times. Like, I know it happened with Killua versus Yuppie. He saved Killua from Yuppie because Yuppie was about to like one-shot kill Killua, and then Melioron made him vanish. Then you had Melioron was teamed up with Knuckle for most of the invasion, just like hit and run attacking every royal guard they saw. And chat, do you guys remember if did Melioron save Shoot as well? Does anyone remember? Because I'm trying to think, like, I remember that Yuppie beat the brakes off of Shoot, and after that, I don't think anyone cared about Shoot anymore. So maybe he just saved Killua and Knuckle. So no, he didn't save Shoot. Did he save Morel? Does anyone remember if he saved Morel? Because during the fight against Yuppie, did Melioron make Morel go invisible at all? That I'm not sure of. So he, like, based off of memory, he at least saved Killua and he saved Knuckle. So that's pretty good. But then Killua, on the other hand, also saved Knuckle with the Thunderbolt, and then that led to that epic scene where Knuckle was just like, he did a monstrous combo on Yuppie and then just bolted off. Other than that, Killua, he also like was boxing like 10% poof a little bit. He might not have even been 10% poof. He could have been like even a smaller percentage, but I'll just call him 10% poof. Because it was like Poof had given, I think, 80% of his aura, was it? No, I think it was 85% of his aura to Meruem, and then he split into dozens of clones, and then Killua killed, like, didn't kill, but like was messing up one of those clones. So I don't know. It could have been 10% Poof. It could have been a little less. But some small fraction of Poof, Killua was like beating him up. And he also like did a combo on Yuppie, but it didn't really do any damage, but it did save Knuckle. So I would say in terms of like aura farming, if it was based on aura farming, Killua's like right here. But I think based off of like actual contribution, I might have to put Melioron above Killua. And then okay, so Angel said, yeah, he made Morel invisible when Yuppie was about to kill him. Okay, yeah, so he saved 3 people's lives. So yeah, I have to put Melioron above Killua. Because Killua, he saved Killua saved Knuckle. Other than that, I don't think Killua saved anyone's life. Well, he also saved Komugi, but that doesn't really change much. Well, actually, if we go deeper into it, right? So you remember when Poof was trying to kill Komugi? If Killua did not save Komugi, then what would have happened? Like, would Meruem have just like gone on a rampage? Because like Meruem did not remember who Komugi was for a little while. Like, he didn't remember who Komugi was until he was about to kill Wolfine. And then after he remembered who Komugi was, Meruem like instantly went back to pacifist mode. But if Meruem had like flown to the palace and then instantly found out that Komugi was dead, maybe instead of knocking everyone out, he would have killed everybody. So, I mean, if you want to like go like that, then technically Killua saved everybody by keeping Komugi alive. But that's kind of me like inserting some headcanon. So, just based on what we saw, I'm still going to put Melioron right here. But Killua, I think now we should debate between Killua and Knuckle. Okay, so like based off of aura, I mean, Killua was definitely the far cooler character. He was aura farming far more. But let's like look at contributions and give Knuckle a fair chance and see if he has a chance of surpassing Killua in contribution. So, one thing to note is that Knuckle actually got way, way closer to killing the Royal Guards than Killua did. Yuppie was legit about to go bankrupt because at the start of the invasion, when Knuckle saw Shoot like on the ground, like after Yuppie beat the brakes off of Shoot, and then Knuckle saw Shoot on the ground like beaten up, Knuckles like, in 10 minutes, Yuppie will go bankrupt. He said it'll just take 10 minutes. And then when it's Knuckle and Morel fighting Yuppie, if Knuckle had sacrificed Morel, then Yuppie was going to go bankrupt, and Shoot on his own, Knuckle on his own most likely was going to just kill Yuppie. So he actually got pretty close to beating a Royal Guard. Then we have he also hit Poof with his Hatsu ability as well. That's why like the APR like thing was following Poof around when Meruem was flying back to the palace. It's because like one of Poof's clones was at the palace, and Knuckle was like hidden using the invisible ability with Melioron, and he just like landed APR on one of Poof's clones. So technically, Knuckle could have taken out 2 Royal Guards. If Knuckle like just didn't drop APR, he would have killed 2 Royal Guards. So yeah, I mean, Knuckle had the most potential for taking out Royal Guards. Like, he would have been able to take out 2 of them if he wasn't, like, an idiot. Like, the other thing is Knuckle put himself in danger just to avenge Shoot's honor. Like, after Shoot was beaten, like, to a pulp by Yuppie, if Knuckle had just hidden and chilled and like, went after trying to land APR on Poof right then, instead of going over and trying to 1v1 box Yuppie, like, out of pure pride. If Knuckle had just done that, he probably wouldn't have even gotten in the situation where Morel was about to die. Like, he probably would have been able to just hide for 10 minutes. Yuppie would have went bankrupt. Everything would have been fine. Then they would have been able to kill Yuppie, and then take out Poof later, too. So really, like, Knuckle being an idiot threw things off, threw a lot of the plan off. And that's also something like Killua was talking about. Like before the invasion starts, he was saying things like, when you have these really elaborate plans, sometimes something unexpected happens. And a lot of unexpected things happened. Like the dragon dive was one of them. Another one was Meruem like becoming more human. A third factor was Knuckle being an idiot, like throwing the plan to the side just to fight Yuppie 1v1. So a lot of things like threw the original plan out of whack. So honestly, just for that, it makes me want to put Knuckle behind Killua. Because if Knuckle had like followed the plan, they would have been able to take out 2 royal guards. And Killua was the one who was like staying on track for the most part. But what do you guys think? Who do you think was more valuable, Killua or Knuckle? I think like Knuckle had more potential to do more, but Killua was just like more responsible during the raid, to be honest. But pretty much everyone screwed up a couple times, except for, I'd say, Morel. Okay, so I'm going to leave it like this for now. I'll have Killua here and Knuckle second. So then after that, who would we have? So, let's see here. Angel said Killua only because Knuckle let his feelings get in the way. Yeah, I'll agree with that. So out of the next few people, no one here killed any royal guards. No one here even damaged any royal guards. So, let's see. I mean, let's put Shoot up here. So Shoot, he was like 1v1ing Yuppie for a few minutes. And like Shoot was evolving as the fight went on, developing new abilities that he had never used before. So that was kind of cool. But none of, like, so far, so these guys might all be B tier because none of them kill any royal guards. Silva, he was there to help Netero separate Meruem from the royal guards. But something they didn't expect was that Meruem just willingly left. That was not part of the plan at all. Like, they showed up, and Zeno was like, bro, this is not what I signed up for. Like, you didn't tell me that these guys were going to be like humans. It was kind of implied that Netero said that these are going to be like man-eating monsters, and they're going to be super strong, and I need you to like distract one of them and separate them. But like when Zeno showed up there, he hit Komugi with his dragon dive, and it just threw everything off. Like Meruem was just willing to just like happily walk away with them. Silva didn't even have to fight anybody. So, yeah, it's interesting to think about. Like if Silva did not hit Komugi with his dragon dive, a lot of things would have been different, right? Because Silva hit Komugi with his dragon dive, Pito didn't want to fight Gon and Killua right away, and it led to Gon like crashing out and just standing there and like hurting Killua's feelings and separating from Gon for a bit. It also led to Meruem just willingly leaving with Netero. Like if Komugi didn't get hit by the dragon dive, do you think Meruem would have just willingly left to fight Netero 1v1 like that? They might have just bum rushed Netero and Silva and just fought them right there. It could have been completely different. So honestly, I'm gonna put Silva ahead of Shoot, because Shoot really didn't do anything. He held Yuppie off for like a few minutes by himself. He also got Morel's weapon back into his hand for him. Like Morel had dropped his weapon, and or he used it as like a distraction. And Shoot got the weapon back to Morel for him. So that was something. But other than that, Shoot didn't really contribute that much. I mean, he distracted Yuppie long enough for everybody else to go up the stairs, right? But that's about it. So let's keep going. Silva kills Cheetu. Honestly, I kind of want to put Silva above Shoot too, just because he actually kills a squadron leader. Like, Shoot, the entire arc doesn't really do anything major. He didn't really do anything major. Silva actually kills Cheetu, so kind of makes me want to put him above Shoot. Let me know if you think that's controversial, me putting him above Shoot. Then we have Komugi. So honestly, Komugi, like, is the main reason. Like, she's not a palace hunter. Yeah, Bruh E is saying Komugi ain't a palace hunter, but if she'd be included, she'd probably be above Netero. Yeah, so she's actually very valuable because she is, like, the main reason Meruem became more of a human. Like, before Komugi, Meruem was just a ruthless monster who would just, like, murk humans without a second thought. But it was, like, an interesting, like, writing element because this blind girl made Meruem see, like, the value of humanity. It's a very, like, smart writing thing. But, yeah, Komugi is the singular reason why Meruem wasn't just a bloodthirsty monster. But she also kind of buffed Meruem a little bit, too, because, like, they played so many games of just, like, beyond world champion levels of Go, or Gungi, which is, like, a made-up version of Go, which is just, like, a type of chess, essentially. But in Hunter x Hunter, it's like chess, but like 4 times harder because like you can stack the pieces, I think 3 or 4 levels high on each other. And it has like all of the rules of chess, but in like multiple directions at once. And Meruem played like so many games of like beyond world champion level strategy that it gave him like precognition. Like that's something Netero says, like, dude, this guy, his pattern recognition is so cracked. It's literally like he's seeing the future. And like Meruem, so it's debatable if Meruem could always do that or if like him playing these Gungi games with Komugi like developed that within him. But like Meruem himself says that. He's like, after all of those games of Gungi, like I can just see people's unconscious biases in their movements now. So, I mean, essentially what I'm saying is if Meruem had never played those games with Komugi, Meruem's so smart, he might have still, like, just developed that precognition on his own anyway. But it happened faster because Komugi was there, or got stronger because Komugi was there. But anyways, where do you guys think I should put her? Like, she legit might be up here with Netero. Because, AWEFA said, whoa, don't call Go a version of chess. Yeah, isn't Go, like, more challenging than chess? I'm pretty sure it is, right? I've actually never played Go. But in Hunter x Hunter, Gungi is, like, a made-up game. But it's heavily inspired by Go. And it's like Go, but you can stack the pieces 3 levels high, and it can go in, like, all different directions. So people are saying that Komugi might be the MVP because, yeah, like really think about how it would have been if Komugi wasn't there. Like the invasion probably would have failed. Like if so something a lot of people don't realize is like Meruem was holding back a lot fighting Netero because of like the human aspect within him. He wanted to know what his name was. He didn't want to fight Netero in the beginning because he had become like so much of a human. He wanted to just talk with Netero. Like he wasn't the same crash out Meruem that he was when he was born. If it was still the same crash out Meruem, the one that was born and just like was just one-shotting people around him for no reason, that Meruem would have just been a menace. Like as soon as they showed up, Meruem probably would have just like one-shot Zeno, started beating the brakes off Netero. Like it would have been really bad. So honestly, yeah, and like if Komugi didn't get injured, like Komugi wasn't a part of Meruem's life at all, like Meruem would have just been a monster. Like I don't even know if they would have been able to successfully separate the Royal Guards from Meruem, to be honest. I don't know if they would have been able to. Not if Meruem didn't want them to. Like he might have just started murking a ton of people. Like a lot more of the hunters would have died if it wasn't for Komugi. She might legit be the MVP. Okay. Now, Icalgo, legit putting him at the very bottom. Did Icalgo do anything, bro? Did Icalgo do a singular thing? And I was also thinking of just putting Kite somewhere on here because he led to Gone crashing out. Oh, whoops. So I think I might put him above Shoot. I mean, legit, he killed more officers than Shoot did, and he led to Gone crashing out. Okay, so I think that this is going to be the overall rank for the Invasion Hunters. What do you guys think about this? Is there anything you guys would change here? I'm just looking at the comments really quick. AWEFA said, I've played both Go and Chess. They're both very difficult. However, the game in Hunter x Hunter is closest to Shogi. Oh, so there's another game that I didn't even know existed, Shogi. He said, even without advanced strategy, Meruem would have murked with Komogi. I don't fully understand what that means. Maybe you're saying, like, even without advanced strategy, if Komogi wasn't there, Meruem would have just wiped them out. Because I do agree with that. Okay? So yeah, this is going to be my rank for this. So now let's rank everybody by strength. And then we're going to go over to the community poll. And yeah, well, you know Hikago's going to be at the very bottom anyway. But we're going to rank everybody by strength really quick. And then we'll go to the community poll and wrap the stream up, okay? All right. So out of the entire invasion, the overall strongest was Adult Gon. He was so much stronger than Netero that, like, if he were to fight Netero, any attack he lands on Netero would, like, tear him apart like toilet paper. I made a whole video on Adult Gon versus Netero that goes more into detail about this, but, like, a simple way to scale the difference in their power is, like, Netero hit Pito with his Hatsu ability with the intention of sending Pito flying miles and miles away. So, like, he hit Pito very hard, and it literally did 0 damage. This is his Hatsu ability, and Netero is an enhancer. So basically, think of it as like Netero's version of Rock, and it did nothing. Like, you know, like, think of it like that, like Netero's version of Rock, because it's his Hatsu. And he's an enhancer. I mean, a debate to that is that some people would say that, like, the Buddha hand techniques are not exactly an enhancer-based Hatsu. People think it's like a combination of conjuration and enhancement. Like, he conjures a Buddha statue and he's enhancing it at the same time. But because he's Netero, he's a master-ranked enhancer, like the highest level of enhancer possible. I would say that I would argue that Netero's Buddha hand is a bigger multiplier than Gon's Rock, especially since Gon is just like a little kid. But let me know what you guys think about that. But or you could say it's at least a relative multiplier for Netero. Either way, it's Netero's Hatsu ability, so it's stronger than Netero would be with like a Ren-based punch. Possibly like many times more powerful than like Netero's base form, which would just be Netero without Hatsu. And he smacks Pito with it, and it does literally nothing. Meanwhile, Adult Gon kicks Pito in the chest and just about breaks Pito's spine, sends Pito flying in the air, leaves Pito incapacitated. Furthermore, just like a couple pages later, punches a hole through Postmortem Nen Pito's chest. He's doing all of this without using his Hatsu abilities. So it's like Adult Gon's normal attacks, no Hatsu involved, are several times more powerful than Netero's Buddha hands. Realistically, honest truth, like, Gon is showing he can one-shot the Royal Guards even without his Hatsu, or at least Pito. Definitely Poof as well, and maybe Yuppie as well too, without even using his Hatsu abilities. If he hits them as hard as he can without Hatsu, he's pretty much either crippling them or killing them. Then you look at Netero, even with his Zero Hand ability, could not do serious damage to Meruem. You could make a real argument that Netero might not even be able to one-shot someone like Yuppie with Zero Hand. Meanwhile, Gon is like one-shotting the Royal Guards without Hatsu, so it's like Gon's normal punches are like close, and I would say a little weaker than Zero Hand, but not much weaker. And then Gon's Rock is then 10 to dozens of times more powerful than that. So Gon's Rock ability is like many folds more powerful than Netero's Zero Hand, and Gon can do like multiple of them back to back. Another way of scaling it is like Gon just standing there was already stated to be so strong that he was equal to Meruem, and then with Rock he becomes dozens of times stronger than Meruem. But Meruem said Netero was so weak it was like a toddler throwing a tantrum. So it's like the gap in power between adult Gon and Netero is even bigger than the power gap between Meruem and Netero was. Meruem is a more powerful character than Adult Gon just because he's way smarter, but in terms of physical attack power, Gon's Rock is actually stronger than anything Meruem displayed, normal Meruem. So, yeah, Adult Gon's Rock is actually cracked, and Adult Gon's normal punches are like just slightly weaker than Zero Hand. Like, so like the gap in power between Adult Gon and Netero is like just genuinely disgusting. But Netero, if these two were to fight, like I said, I made a very in detail video on this. Like, Netero does have some win conditions just because he's so smart and way more skilled and very fast, but like in just overall, Adult Gon is just a mega monster. So he's the strongest one. Then would be Netero second. Then it's Morel. Then it's probably Killua with his Godspeed ability. Even though Knuckle and Shoot... So this is where it gets debatable, right? It's between Killua, Knuckle, and Shoot. So I would say this, like, Knuckle can beat Killua if he lands APR. And then just outlasts Godspeed, but Godspeed is a pretty good hard counter to APR, because like if you can outspeed Knuckle and land more hits on him than he lands on you, then you can pay back all of the interest on APR. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I think if you pay back all the interest on APR, then APR disappears. So, yeah, Killua, like, it depends on how Knuckle would fight. Like, if Knuckle waits for Killua to go Godspeed, tanks an entire Godspeed onslaught, then lands APR after Godspeed runs out, and Knuckle still has enough energy to, like, keep fighting and run away for about 2 minutes, because when Gon fought Knuckle, I believe he said it took 2 minutes for Gon to run out of aura. I think he said it was just 2 minutes in total. So Knuckles' win condition against Killua, it would be survive a Godspeed onslaught, land 1 APR, and then survive 2 more minutes. Then he wins. So Knuckle does have some win conditions on Killua, but Godspeed is a really good counter to APR. But without Godspeed, Killua is weaker than Knuckle, because Knuckle was stated to be on par with Kite physically. Amaterasu's saying Cap. I think are you saying Cap that Killua's Godspeed is a hard counter to APR? Because it would be a pretty good hard counter to it. Just because Killua would be faster than Knuckle. And like one of the key things that makes APR powerful is that Knuckle's very fast. So he can like do hit and run tactics on a lot of people. But yeah, so I would say it like this. Knuckle is a more powerful Nen user than Killua, but Killua is slightly more likely to win just due to like the tight matchup. And then Shoot should be stronger than Killua as well, but his feats are actually kind of trash. Like he's narratively stated to be twice as strong as Gon. So based off of that, he should be stronger than Killua too, but his feats like don't back it up at all. Oh crap. Fozu Purple, you have a good point. I forgot Nove entirely. Well, I'll be honest, Nove would have been like probably around the top of B rank in the contribution list, because he was letting them like use their subspace to make plans, and he also like teleported them into the invasion. So that was actually pretty important. So Nove would have been at the top of B rank. I had forgotten about that. Sorry. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, Killua versus Shoot. Like narratively, so based off of the narrative, it really should be like this. If we're talking about who's the overall more powerful Nen user, then it should be like this. But based on like who's more likely to win, it would kind of be like this. Just based on like the matchups and how their abilities work, it would be like that. But based on like who's the most powerful Nen user, it goes like this. So, you know what? I can do the chart based on who's the most powerful Nen user, just to keep it simple. Because yes, Killua would have like more like I would say that Killua would be slightly more likely to win against Knuckle than Knuckle would be to win against him. But that's debatable because like Killua's win condition would be like if they're fighting without Godspeed, Killua's going to get beaten up because it would be like imagine Killua trying to fight Kite. He's going to get the snot beaten out of him. But with Godspeed, then Killua has the upper hand. So then it's just going to be Knuckle like taking a beating until Godspeed runs out. And then it's like if Knuckle can survive that, then Killua is probably cooked because he'll hit him with APR and win. But if not, then Killua would win. So that's kind of how that fight goes. But overall, Knuckle's the more powerful Nen user, like by a decent amount, because Knuckle has over 5,000 Nen battles, and most of Killua's battle experience came from before he learned Nen. So like Knuckle has way more Nen experience. Shoot would be in a similar category of Nen experience to Knuckle. Well, Shoot's experience, it doesn't really go into detail about it. We don't know if he's had as many Nen battles as Knuckle has, but he is stated to be twice as strong as Gon. So narratively, he should be stronger than Killua too. But it's like, from everything Shoot's displayed, he hasn't really shown anything that would be able to beat Godspeed. But it is debatable though, because he was able to dodge numerous attacks from Yuppie. So that was actually super impressive. But I would just say Shoot is the more powerful Nen user, even though Killua would have some win conditions over him. Because in Hunter x Hunter, it's not just about like who would win. It's a category. It's like a list of different factors that determine who is the more powerful Nen user. RFX Alpha said, what about Killua versus Morel? Morel is a far more powerful Nen user than Killua is. Morel is stated to have more than 3 times as much aura as Killua. Not only that, it's like Morel is pretty much specifically built for defeating speedsters. Like his Smoky Jail and cloning ability, that is the perfect combination for defeating speedsters because they can't see you, and then he's making like dozens of clones that look just like him. That's a great way to like run out a speed advantage, especially one that has a time limit. And Morel is the character who straight up said like there's plenty of ways to defeat people who over rely on speed, especially since we saw him already beat a speedster with similar speed feats to Godspeed without even taking damage. He is like one of the hunters that's like the most likely to be able to beat Killua, even in Godspeed. Bible First says, do you think Knuckles' Nen ability is good? Please explain why. Yeah, it's actually one of the strongest Nen abilities. Like, because in Hunter x Hunter, if you're fighting just normal humans, most humans in the entire verse almost die if they're just exposed to aura without Nen protection. Like, even Phaeton during the Phantom Troop arc, during the Chimera Ant arc, him just getting hit with like the tiniest bit of aura from Zazon, it nearly killed him. Like just the tiniest bit, like while he barely had Nen protection, it almost killed him, let alone like a full-fledged Nen attack. So someone like Knuckle who can force people into Zetsu, at that point, anything he lands on you will kill you. So it's like, and the other thing about Knuckles' ability is he doesn't just force you into Zetsu. He forces you into Zetsu for an entire month. You're literally defenseless for a month. Like, he's cracked. His Hatsu ability is cracked. Okay. So, where was I at? Yeah, let's continue on with this list. So, I just decided we're going to rank these based on who's the overall more powerful Nen user. Based on that, it's like, so Adult Gon versus Netero, then it does become a little bit controversial because it's like Gon's overall power is like comparing a bodybuilder to a baby, but Netero can still squeak out some victories So it's like you could, if you're basing it on who's the overall powerful Nen user, this one could go either way. But I'm just gonna leave adult. Like, this is a Gon who can transform into adult Gon. I'm just gonna leave him at number 1 because all he has to do is land one hit on Netero and Netero dies. But Netero has to fight like completely perfectly until Gon's transformation runs out. So I don't know. This one is kind of debatable. If I'm basing it on who's the overall powerful Nen user. Let me know what you guys think about that. Who is overall the more powerful Nen user between Netero and adult Gon? Because like, really Netero's only chance of survival is he has to keep Gon, like keep swatting Gon away. And he cannot get hit by anything or he'll die. And keep swatting Gon away until Gon's transformation runs out. And adult Gon's win condition is literally land any attack on Netero at all and he will just rip like toilet paper. All right, so let's keep going. Oh crap, I forgot like Silva and stuff. So Silva would be above all of these guys. Zeno would be above all of these guys. Silva would be above all these guys. This one is debatable either way. I would actually have Silva above Zeno because Silva's the head of the family now. And let's see, who else was there? We also have Kite. Kite wasn't really in the invasion, but he was a hunter in Chimera Antark, so I'll just throw him in here for fun. He's probably right there, like above Morel, but below Zeno. And who else? Oh yeah, then we have just the fodder characters. You got Melioron and Ikalgo, and then Kamugi cannot even fight. So yeah, it's probably like that. Okay. So yeah, based on like who's the overall more powerful Nen user, this is how the ranking of like the Chimera Antark hunters, palace invasion characters would go. Any questions on any of this stuff? Anything you guys disagree with? Dale, I'm not sure if Dale was messaging me or if he was. I think some guys were having a debate amongst each other. Okay, anything you guys disagree with? Death Reaper says, why Kite above Morel? Gon says he's about the same physical strength as Knuckle, whereas Knuckle reveres and basically admits inferiority to Morel. They're also all tied in databook stats. So, Gon said that physically Knuckle was on par with Kite. That is a good point. But there's a couple ways you can interpret that. Maybe he just meant in terms of just like physical strength and Nen abilities. So like if Knuckle and Kite were to fight without using their Hatsus, then it would be a draw. But then like with their Hatsu abilities, then it becomes different. And we also never even got to see like everything that Kite has. So Kite's ability was like kind of gambling based. Oh crap, I forgot. Fozy, you keep reminding me of characters I forgot. I forgot about Palm and I forgot Nove. I'll add them in 1 second. But Kite's ability was gambling based, and everything he used, he said it was a bad spin every single time, even though one of his abilities was so strong that it literally one-shot an entire horde of officers. One-shot a horde of them. Pretty much everything Kite did was one-shotting officers. Another thing that puts Kite above Knuckle is he straight up stated to be a Nen master, and Knuckle is never stated to be one. Like Kite had it says to be a Nen master you need to have an N radius of 50 meters, and Kite had an N radius like larger than 50 meters and maintained it while walking for an entire night. And then later in the Succession War arc, some of the Phantom Troop members are talking about N, and I need to reread the chapters, but I believe Finks is saying he can use N, but he can barely use it while walking. Like, it's hard for him to use it while walking. Meanwhile, Kite was using it like all night while walking. So it's like implying like Kite might be stronger than like most of the Phantom Troop too. Nugan says, oh, I might be mispronouncing your name. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. Hung Gwen says, just join the stream. Wanted to drop some support. My favorite character is Kurapika, and my favorite ability is Nov. Dude, thank you very much for the donation, man. I really appreciate that, bro. And dude, Kurapika honestly has become one of my favorite characters too. He's an incredible main character for the most recent chapters of Hunter x Hunter, just seeing him big brain his way out of like crazy situations. And Nov's ability is cracked. That would actually be like one of the most valuable ones to have in the real world, because you have like your own like subspace where no one can bother you, but it's also basically like teleportation. And also like in the Hunter x Hunter verse, Nov's ability is really cracked because I don't know if anyone can block it. It might legit just be an unblockable attack. Okay, but where was I? Like, Fozu, you said Palm. Let's see, is Palm on this list? She should be. I think she would be. Palm, yeah, and yeah, they're right next to each other, Nov and Palm. Good call on that, dude. I forgot both of these guys. So let me get Nov up here, and let me get Palm up here. Whoops. Okay. So based on overall Nen users, Palm was like physically stronger than base Killua, but that's all we saw from her, is that she's just strong, right? Like, I think Gon and Killua both would be able to beat her in a drawn out battle. So I'm going to put her below Killua. And then we have Nov, definitely stronger than her. Like, I think Nov might have actually been stronger than Knuckle and Shoot. Like, he was like Morel's partner, but he just, I don't know. Do you guys think Nov was kind of cowardly? Like, it's hard to explain why he got that scared, but like Knuckle and Shoot didn't. Maybe Nov is just a straight up coward, bro. I don't know. Or maybe it's just like, compared to everyone else in the invasion, Nov was cowardly compared to like these extremely brave people. What do you guys think about that? Because like Nov experienced Poof's N while he was in Zetsu, and it like shook him tremendously. But then you have like a coward like Shoot overcame his fears and like fought a Royal Guard 1v1. I think the big thing that messed Nov up, I think, is that he was in Zetsu. But yeah, I'm gonna put him there. And is there anyone else I forgot, guys, that was like a main fighter in the Palace invasion? Death Reaper said Nov was strong. He basically 1v1'd all the squadron leaders Netero trained against in order to get them into his Hatsu realm. Yeah, he was like just teleporting them there. So Nov, like, if he wanted to, he could have killed them by just like teleporting their heads off and stuff. Bible first, you might be right. Actually, when I really think about it, you might be actually right. Bible first said Nov's ability is hacks. Plot needed him to be nerfed. Simple. You might be right, because think about if Nov was teamed up with Melioron. They just made him invisible and just like erased Yuppie's head. Like, just like started killing the Royal Guards like that. You might actually be right. You might actually be right. I'm going to leave Nov right here. I'm going to leave Nov right there. Yeah, he is kind of completely broken when I really think about it. Is this any disagreements with any of this stuff, guys? A Bible First also said, please explain the difference between Gon and Fink's Hatsu. I feel like they just do Nen punches. They pretty much are the same thing, but like Fink's ability is like, the more he winds up his fist, the more powerful his punch becomes. And we don't know like what his maximum strength punch would be. I think the most rotations he did was 12. I might be wrong. I don't remember the exact number. It was like, maybe he did 8. I don't remember. How many rotations did Finks do when he like one-shot that officer? Whatever it was, right afterwards, he said half of that would have one-shot him. But anyways, the limit to Finks' power would probably just be like all of his Nen capacity. So like Knuckle talks about it, that everyone has a total amount of Nen, like their Nen capacity, and then they have Nen output, which is the total amount of Nen you can pour into one attack. So let's say you have like 100 Nen points as your capacity. If you have a Nen output of 10%, you can only use 10 Nen points in your like strongest punch at one time. Finks's ability lets him go beyond that, and he can just keep like winding up greater and greater and greater. So like, we don't know the exact limit of what he could wind up to, but like my interpretation of it is he might be able to pour all of his Nen capacity into one punch. That's actually what Netero does with Zero Hand. Zero Hand is Netero pouring all of his Nen capacity into one like Kamehameha blast. And like Finks, maybe like I said, we haven't seen him use it like to the max number of windups. Maybe it does stop before that. Maybe he can only go to like 20 windups or something, and it uses like a fourth of his Nen or like half of his Nen. We don't actually know, but like there's a chance that Finks might be able to wind up all of his aura into one punch. Meanwhile, Gon with his rock like could only go to 10%. That's something that Knuckles straight up tells him. He's like, your total aura is 21,500, and your rock, you're only putting 2,000 aura into it. Like, no matter how he said you're putting 2,000 into it, but like as it charges up, it goes slightly beyond 2,000. But still, it's like Gon's rock is about a 10. Like Gon, at least before he got angry, was like maxed out at 10% net output. So that's like the difference between Gon's ability and Finks's. Like Finks's, he might be able to go up to 100% net output, but Gon was like capped at 10. But with Rage Amps, Gon, his output seemed to have gotten bigger, or it was his capacity like shot up crazy. We don't exactly know which. Okay. Anyone disagree with anything in this placing? Because for anyone who just hopped in, we first ranked all of the Palace Hunters based on their contribution to the invasion, and then we started over, and then this ranking is just them based on who's the overall more powerful Nen user. So does anyone disagree with any of this stuff, or want me to clarify anything? And let's see here. I'm just looking through the comments really quick. Stormy Z Experience says, I feel like it's to show how badly getting hit by high level Nen in Zetsu. Nove was crushed by that Nen. I don't blame him. I also do agree that they had to nerf him because his ability is busted. Okay, yeah, he's talking about like, why did Nove get so shook by Poof's aura, even though Shoot and Yuppie like were able to face the aura. And yeah, I agree with what you're saying. Like, one factor of it, I think Nove was in Zetsu, and then the other thing is like Nove is legitimately hacks. Like, if Nove was in the invasion would not have been a challenge at all. Like, just make Nove invisible with Melioron's ability and just erase Yuppie's head, erase Poof's head, erase Meruem's head, they're all dead. Like, just, like, literally just Melioron and Nove together could have soloed. So, yeah, it's pretty hacks. Bruh E said, it's weird how Silva's first Hatsu use was against Crollo, and it did, like, absolutely nothing, but next time he used it on Chi-Tu, obliterating him. True. That is very fascinating. Like, yeah, we saw him, like, create, like, a spirit bomb, and it did, like, nothing to Crollo or Zeno. But then against Chi-Tu, he just, like, zipped down and punched his head off. I have a theory that there's been a few other Zoldyck members that have had the Godspeed ability, like that Killua has. Some of the other ones might have it too, because they all went through the same lightning torture training, and all you need for Godspeed is just turn your aura into lightning. Like, in theory, like pretty much all of them should be able to do it, but I don't think all of them have it. But I do think some Zoldicks in the past had it, because like his butler Subone was chasing after Killua while he was in Godspeed. This is actually something that's like very underrated. Like, Subone was kind of keeping up with him while he was like using Godspeed in the forest. That's one thing. But the other thing is Subone says, if I didn't know about that ability beforehand, I would not be able to keep up with him. So it's like, how did Subone know about that ability beforehand? Like, either they were still like watching Killua somehow, or someone else in the family had it. And seeing how they all go through torture training, it's very possible someone else in the Zoldyx had it. Anyways, I think this should be good for this ranking. Unless anyone wants me to go over anything else. Okay, so next we'll go over to the poll here. I did this right before I started the stream, so let me just refresh my page. I don't know if it'll have a lot of votes yet. I really should have done this like hours prior, but I just kind of genuinely, like on a whim, did this live stream. I wasn't really planning. Okay, so the poll that I posted was, who was the MVP of the Chimera Ant Arc Palace invasion? And yeah, Netero won that. So if that lines up with what we had said, and then Morel got second, Gon got third, Killua got fourth, that lines up like pretty much exactly with what we had did in the poll stream. Let's look at some of these top comments. Morel ran a gauntlet peak. I agree with that. I'll give that a heart as well. The narrator. That is a golden comment. It's Morel. You know it's you when you have enough screen time to rival the main characters. Oh, yeah. And something, I don't even think I mentioned it when we were doing the contribution. Everything Morel did during the invasion, he was doing at 35% power. Like, it was stated that he was at 35% of his peak condition. And even at just 35%, his smoky jail was so strong that Yuppie and Poof could not break out of it. Like, his smoky jail is legit like a Royal Guard level Hatsu. Even when he's at 35%, he's cracked. Here it says, Netero is the sole reason for them winning. Without the Rose Bomb, the hunters get killed by the Royal Guards. Plus, if Netero didn't separate the king from the palace, all the hunters would be screwed. I agree. Dude, the 15% who voted for Gon is crazy. Blood just sat there the whole time. That's funny. Netero did his job and stuck to the plan. Morel was insanely clutch, compensating for all the various ways the plan failed. True. Netero is the MVP in theory because he was the linchpin of the plan, but Morel was practical MVP because if he didn't succeed while going off script, even Netero would have been jumped and failed. I'm giving you that too. Yeah, he did stalemate like Royal Guards on his own for a while. Kamugi, very underrated comment. And we can read this one too. It says, I think without Morel ability, it would be 100% harder for hunters. He played a very important task. I mean, it was merely a support, and you can say that Morel didn't, in a way, defeated everyone, but Morel's smoke made the hunters able to fight back and have very few casualties. That is true. I'm going to go ahead and give this one a heart, too. Awesome. So, yeah, that was just about everything I wanted to cover, guys. Yeah. And like I said, this one would be a more quick stream because there wasn't that much to cover. I just wanted to do this one pretty quick for fun. Yeah. Let me look through these comments really quick here. Bible first said, Lilo, do you have your own Nen ability? Like, you mean like if I was a Hunter x Hunter character? If I was a Hunter x Hunter character, I think I would be the same Nen type as Kurapika because it said like if you are, it's based on your personality, and I think it said like if you're like an anxious overthinker type or if you're worrisome, it's one of those three. But all three of those, I've always been like that. So like I remember when Hisoka was explaining the Nen types to Killua, the one that resonated with me the most was Conjurer, I think. I'm like, oh yeah, that's probably what I would have been. And if I was a conjurer, then I would want to like conjure up like a stand from JoJo. That's probably what I would try and do. But I don't know like exactly what the limitations to conjuring is. I think you can only conjure things that exist in the real world. So I would, if I was a conjurer in Hunter x Hunter, I would have to like put some real time into thinking about something cool to conjure. Because like if I can't conjure a stand, then it kind of sucks, dude. It's like I would have to think of something creative that would be nice to conjure. Off the top of my head, I don't know. I would have to put some serious thought into it. Bible first said, you think you would be an enhancer? That would be a very good one. Rada says transmuting is underrated. Transmuting is super cracked. Like in theory, you could like transmute your aura into light. And just make yourself light speed. A lot of people could just be super cracked transmuters. But all right, guys, that's everything I'm going to go over for today. I'm almost done with midterms. Sorry for the video delays, guys. It's just like I'm a grad student. So like when midterm exams happen, it just like takes all of my time every day. Like I just have to study all day and all night. But I'm almost done with midterms. My last one is on Thursday. Then I'm free. So like that Friday, I'll be grinding on the next video, and my goal is to get the next video out to you guys on Sunday. So it's gonna be pretty sick. I'm really like the next one is fun. I wanted to post it like last week, but I just saw like I had way too much to study, and I just decided like no, I'm gonna wait till my studies are done because I don't want to just get bad grades just to get a video out a few days faster, you know. And yeah, it's gonna be good. Got a lot of videos coming for you guys. The next one, like I said, is gonna be Kurapika versus the Fourth Prince. And in that video, we're going to be going in detail about how talented the Fourth Prince is and comparing his talent to Gon and Killua and like letting you guys know who's actually more talented between Gon, Killua, and the Fourth Prince. Is it close at all, or is it just like an overwhelming gap? And yeah, we're going to go into detail about that stuff. Then we're going to talk about how a fight between the Fourth Prince and Kurapika would go. And then we're going to talk about like how strong the Fourth Prince could become. So it'll give you guys a lot of like cool analysis in there. Oh yeah, I do have a Discord server. I'll post that. I'll post that in the comments of this live stream for you guys, and I'll leave it in the description too. Yeah, I opened up a Discord like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. And yeah, I highly recommend hopping in there because like we have debates in there. And whenever I do like video game live streams, if you guys want to play games with me, you can hop in through that Discord server too. Who knows says, what are you studying? I'm a computer science major. Honestly, I think a lot of like, I was talking to one of my friends about this. I think your major that you study in college like determines the type of channel you make. Like a lot of like programmers tend to be power scalers because we're doing like the same kind of thing that we do in homework. You're just like analyzing stuff. And I think like a lot of art-based majors tend to be like video game channels. Like even if you guys know Penguin Z0, I think he said in college he was like an art-based major too. But yeah, I'll post the Discord server in the description to this. So if you guys are ever trying to chat with me while I'm studying and stuff, you can reach me through that. And yeah, if you guys are ever trying to hop in these games, I've been playing Street Fighter a lot lately, and I'm thinking about getting into Monster Hunter. So if you guys are ever trying to like go on some raids on Monster Hunter, hit me up through the Discord. And yeah, that should be pretty sick. DDK Geo says I'm in cybersecurity. That's sick, man. Cybersecurity is a very cool field. Euroball said, bro, my internet just died for no reason. That sucks. I'm sorry. No, that's awful. It's all good, bro. Yeah, I'm sorry that your internet just crashed like that. That sucks. But all right, guys, I think that's where we will call it for tonight. But yeah, I'm almost done with these exams. Once I'm done, I'll be back to posting regularly again. So sorry for like the hiatus that I've been on. Isn't it kind of ironic that a Hunter x Hunter YouTuber just keeps going on hiatus? There's got to be some irony in that, bro. Anyways, I will see you guys on the next stream. Thank you for tuning in, everybody.